He's not there yet?
Who?
My guest.
No, he didn't pick up. 239. Oh, he just called back.
Okay.
Okay, so he called.
I didn't put any music in or anything like that. I don't know, like, what do you have? Are you an access to any of the old stuff that I have up there? Hey, junior high.
Hey,
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. How are you? I mean, well, you already answered me, so I don't know why I repeated it back. I'm not stoned enough.
You're not stoned, right? I believe that.
Yeah. So,
You got me at the club over here. I'm at the nightclub right now.
oh, you are?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. Now are you,
Yeah.
didn't you say you were managing there now?
Yeah, I'm the GM. Yeah.
Wow, that's great.
Yeah, not bad. Not bad.
Carrie,
Yeah?
what do you want to use?
I don't know. Let me see. What do we have? We've
We
got.
have everything that you sent over for us to use. We have everything here.
Um,
Pick something random.
let's do the one guy the one I want to hold your hand again. We haven't done that one in a while.
Yeah, pick that one.
That's a good one. And then let's do something. Let's do Jason Stewart again. The Grammys clip
Let me see if I can find
from earlier this week. And then
Are
like
we connected with North Black? Because I'm showing he's online.
oh, okay.
up, so see if he pick up this.
See if he picks up. He popped on. I don't know if he's there or not.
Fuck. Date up. Alright, so you wanted to play which one?
I want to hold your hand.
And the other besides that one.
I was gonna do. Should we do comedy or should we do another song? Let's do comedy. The Jason Stewart on the Grammys.
Exciting.
And North Flat still calling.
Yeah, I saw that.
Huh. Hopefully he'll be able to do it tomorrow night.
Yeah, he likes. Well, he said he'd be here tonight.
I know. Well, if we don't get him before showtime, we can always try again a little bit later. We can wing it in the beginning part.
Right, wait till the last second. He likes to do that.
I know, huh?
Yep.
You have reached the Sprint voicemail box of
Huh. Yeah, we'll try it. Maybe like in like right be like I don't know. We'll try it in a minute.
Yeah.
Okay. How are you tonight, Sasha?
I'm tired.
Oh.
Stoned.
So
Yeah.
where is Casper resting?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're doing the French show tonight, so.
Um. Yeah, I'm gonna send him a message tomorrow. So tomorrow night, we're gonna have the Cush family, and then I think Travis for sure. Maybe Steven, and I think we're gonna do trips too. And I'm gonna go over to Travis's house in Woodland,
Alright, sounds cool.
and then and do it from there, and then I can broadcast more people, rather than just seeing my face on the Ustream the whole time too as well.
Right.
And it'd be fun. I mean, they don't live that far. That's not that far away from where I'm at. Is it? Is it Woodland or Woodburn? Is it?
It's Woodland.
Okay.
Like 30 seconds.
We're 30 seconds from showtime.
Yes. Maybe less. But it goes like.
Okay.
Imagine a town where there are no small joints, just small stones. Precocious animals desperate, and all breaking is the new liberty. It's the Hollywood Hemptress Hour, hosted by all-year-long Hemptress, Terry Joyce.
Hello, welcome to Hollywood Hemptress Hour on the Time for Hemp Network on iHeartRadio. We have a great show today, but first in studio I have my co-host with me, Kevin Korn from Hard Corn Entertainment, and Trips. Welcome to the show, Kevin.
Yeah, it's great to be here.
Oh, awesome! It's great for you to be here too as well. And I just want to go ahead and introduce our guest too on the show. This is the Reverend Junior High stand-up comedian, and obviously with the last name of High, he better be a pot smoker. So, and, and a reverend to boot. And welcome
That's
to.
right. That's right.
I think that you actually did maybe one of my very, very first Hollywood Hemptress hours that I did when I was on New Dissident Radio.
Yeah. I remember that. It was me and not Russ Belville, but another guy.
Yeah.
I remember.
It might have been Craig X. Rubin, because Craig X. Rubin was.
It was. Craig X. Rubin, that's exactly who it was.
Yeah. Who I want to get to be on this show again. I've kind of lost a little bit of contact with him. But I definitely want to get him back because he's definitely a force to reckon with in the marijuana movement. I mean, he's just got such a story behind him, and and he was also in Weeds. He played a dispensary owner in the series Weeds, and I believe he was also a consultant for this series as well. So he's got an interesting quasi freedom fighter slash actor, Hollywood comedian, book author person. I mean, he's quite the guy. I love Craig X. Yeah. So Kevin, how you doing today?
Doing great.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've been stuck at home since I've gotten this PS4, and I just been playing online. That's all I do.
Oh, really?
And see, now I recognize that voice. Okay, Kevin, how are you, buddy?
What's going on, man?
Yeah.
Doing good. How's the nightclub business?
Oh, man. Never a dull moment.
I bet. Exciting.
Yeah. I recently became single, so being GM of a nightclub is an interesting thing. Now, being GM of a nightclub in Longview, Washington is even more interesting because I don't know if it's like this in every town, but I've got about 31 messages in the 9 days that I've been single with women offering everything from bowling to blowjobs.
Wow.
Now, if I could find one that had bowling, wanted to blow me, had all their teeth, a credit card, and a car, I will marry her. I don't think they exist here.
Watch out what you say, because they might be listening.
Right. Now I get messages next
Yeah. Now you know all the 20 messages are going to read the exact same way. I'll give you a blowjob at the bowling alley. You can use my credit card and drive my car.
Yeah. Fuck, there's my girl.
Yeah. But the only thing you're allowed to use the credit card for is to buy him a ring.
No shit.
So is the bowling alley far from where the club is?
Not far at all. Shit. To run right down there and get that blowjob, bowl a strike, come on back.
And nobody will know that you were gone. It would be just like you took a lunch break, right?
Exactly. And you know what's funny too is ever since I came single, like I just moved back from Florida, so everything's changed. You know, I've been with the same woman for 100 years and now single. And so all the rules, everything's changed. And being in Florida, I was on alert. So last week, they're supposed to kiss in my neck. She kissed me really soft. Felt great. Then all of a sudden, she bit me. So I punched her in the face because I thought she was on bath salts. You know what I'm saying? You can't fuck around, dude. I'm from Miami. That shit is real there.
So I have a question. Now, are you talking about the girl that I've met you with her? You broke up with?
Yeah, that's yesterday's news, Carrie. I'm moving on.
Oh.
I'm replacing her with another 21-year-old. That's how I do it.
Oh no, she was so
Yeah.
nice.
She was all right. And, you know, for bipolar, she was okay. Great. Now, I forgot that people be listening. Shit. Now I have a slander case on my hands.
I've got one viewer on the Hollywood Hemptress Hour Ustream. It could be her.
Exactly.
What?
Exactly. Yeah, so now we have this ass-shaking contest going on here over at the club in a couple weeks. And the guy that does all of our inventive marketing thought it might be nice to start it off with a big flyer that says, Junior needs some new ass. And that's exactly what it says on the flyer, and then it has 32 naked asses shaking. So, we're pushing the envelope a little bit over here.
Well, I mean, I guess being single isn't so bad when you have 30, the possibility of 32 naked asses shaking. So, I mean, how did you come up with that concept of having an ass shaking contest? Who thought of that?
I've always been fond of the ass shaking,
Such
an early age. And, I mean, let's face it, everything in this town where I'm at, it's a mill mentality here. And, of course, I'm hanging up my comedic, microphone Saturday night to focus on just this. But it's, sex sells, Terry. I mean, come on, you've been a part of one of my wet t-shirt contests over here. And, 300 people foaming at the mouth, you know what I'm saying? It's sex sells, so that's, we're not reinventing the wheel, we're just, we're reselling it.
Well, this is true. I did do the wet t-shirt contest. It was for breast cancer awareness, but
It was important to know.
Yeah. I was doing it for a good cause. I was doing it for breast cancer awareness.
And you left with pneumonia. What did we dump 16 gallons of water on you? There wasn't a fabric on your body that wasn't soaked.
It's funny that you brought that up again because I kind of that kind of bleeped out of my mind. I was like, that wet t-shirt contest. I actually did. I did a wet t-shirt contest one time in Albuquerque, New Mexico, when I was playing a comedy club out there. I was hanging out with one of the guys one of the bartenders that worked at the comedy club. You know how it is. Like the comic, it's always a stereotypical for the comic to actually, do the waitress, well, the girl comic gets to take home the bartender. I mean, I think that's the...
Exactly. Yeah.
But that's not really, really what happened, but, it was a bartender or an employee that, it was the Laughs, and he'd been in Arizona, and then he was in New Mexico, so I knew him for a while, and he's like, oh, I want to go take you to this club and whatever, and there's this wet t-shirt contest, and you got to do it, and I thought, what the hell? I mean, like, why not, and so I thought, I don't know anybody here, and I'm not going to come back, and it's just an experience. And I ended up, and here's the deal, I ended up taking like 6th place or something like that. There were like 12 girls. I was like in the middle, like I'm in the middle of whatever, but it's still like I still ended up getting like, I didn't win any money, but I ended up having like free drinks for the whole night, which which I'm not gonna argue with, and I don't think it's that big of a deal. Like, it's a wet t-shirt. It's not like you're really naked. I mean, you're almost naked, but I mean topless,
right.
But technically you're not. And
the liquor control board comes down on us hard for it, and it's like the burlesque too. You're almost stripping, but you're really not. It's so uptight.
Right. Well, I'm a fan of burlesque actually, and I'm not even like, I mean, I even think stripping is artistic. I look
Sure.
at it and I go, wow, look at that. I mean, like, look at the costume or the way she's presenting herself. I mean, on some level, I mean, you see shows in Vegas and the dancers are topless. I don't really think that for me. I mean, that's me. I mean, a lot of people are offended by naked, beautiful breasts or women or whatever. They just go, oh, that's blasphemous. Put your clothes on. Um, but I've actually done a stand-up comedy burlesque shows with a comedian named Ludovica, and she's a dancer, and we actually did stand up, and we did different routines. We didn't really strip down to pasties or anything like that, because there was other girls who were real burlesque dancers that were part of the show that did that stuff, but we went down to, like, little clothing pretty much, which, yeah, I don't.
It's the illusion of it. It's the illusion of stripping, you know?
Right,
And
right.
that's what they're selling, a classier illusion. Not that, stripping doesn't have a shred of classiness. I'm sure it does. I don't know where, but I'm sure. But the burlesque is that supposedly notch above, right?
Right. It is more like, artistic, and of course it has been associated with, vaudeville, or, comedy, or, clubs that, had entertainment. You'd have a comedian, you have a burlesque dancer, you'd have, a musician, or it all kind of, traditionally, it's actually really been a part of our culture for,
Right.
yeah, as long as we know. How many comics came out of, like, working in strip clubs? I mean, I didn't personally, but quite a few have. Their first times
Yeah.
were there.
Well, I'm thankful to have never worked the strip circuit.
Right.
Shit. I'll tell you this, Terry. I do have something big that coming up that of course, I'm walking away on Saturday. There's a reason that I'm doing it. I'm going to be doing some singing in a rockabilly band, which is really my thing, something I'd rather do. But I'm also breaking out in January a show called the Rev High Revival, which is 99% heavy in marijuana content. And
Uh-huh.
I brought two sexy girls that are going to dress as like mimes and paint their body all green and glowy. And of course, I'll be up there in the glitter and all the theatrics. And basically, we're going to give sermons where the reverend's going to get up there and give a sermon. The girls are going to act out the shit. They're going to throw stuff at the crowd. So I'm not done doing comedy. I'm just done doing it as junior. I'm coming out with a whole new level, a 3 to 4 person theatrical show every time I take the stage.
That sounds great, and I like the fact that it has a marijuana theme to it, and you are doing the show in Washington, which is one of the first states to legalize marijuana. Do you feel that is that part of your marketing ploy? I mean, are you seeing a future in marijuana entertainment?
Well, it's like I had the conversation years ago with a comic from Portland, Muskie, the Mustard Man, who was
Yeah.
doing all the weed stuff for a while too. And he said, someday I'm going to have to walk away, from what I'm doing. And at that point, I had switched over more to mainstream and was touring around the country, so I understood what he was saying as far as that goes. But now, we're at a whole new level now. We got the largest. I mean, the marijuana leaf is like the largest marketing thing. It's like being the largest industry out there. The T-shirts, the hats, the whole movement. So, I mean, I've been on board now for many years, and I think that I kind of kept it just kind of in the background, and now's the time. I mean, you look at who our guys are, and I don't want to talk bad about anybody, but you got Doug Benson. He's super funny. He's good. But it's a POV from a different type of guy. Joe Rogan kind of does the everyday guy thing, and so your everyday pot smoker kind of relates with that guy. Your nerdier computer smart guys, they kind of relate with Doug Benson. But the Cheech and Chong, the true heart of the stoner, it's not out there. It's not. So although I believe that everybody's going to try and cash in on it now, you have to be true to it. It's not something you could just come along now and try to do. But to me, it's been on the, it's been my name for many years. It's been part of my life, and now's the time. It just makes perfect sense.
It does make perfect sense. There was a point where, because when I started out doing stand up, I wasn't I was just doing stand up. I wasn't considered. I didn't go into being a marijuana comic. And then it was through my from association with friends and the idea of like, hey, you want to do a marijuana themed show, and this is like back in 2007, that I went, well, and I even avoided it. I go, well, let's, call it's already being done and this and that, and we ended up doing it, and I ended up getting involved in it because I cared about the cause. And so from my own personal experiences that I had with cannabis, like being in the raid or whatever, then that became fodder to material that I felt driven to start to do based on giving out information or an understanding of what might be going on politically. And so that was like my motivation then. And then now there was times where I've heard people coin me as a marijuana comic, and I gotta say I've gotten kind of defensive about it, like, well, I'm not just a marijuana, I mean, I happen to be just, I do that, but I don't consider myself to be like a marijuana comic per se.
Right.
Because again, there was also there's somewhat of that, there is a little bit of a stigma to it, maybe in some respect. And I also don't necessarily like to be labeled, I like to be an individual artist within myself, rather being labeled with a certain thing or certain movement per se. I know that there's some comedians that say, well, I'm a gay comic, or or I'm gonna talk about being gay, and you get stereotyped into that in that category. It's hard not to get categorized.
Right, like a political comic. You're going to be that, you know what I mean? And I agree with the name Reverend High. I get it all the time, and usually after shows, I didn't hear any weed material. How come your name's that? And you're a weed comic. Wow, a weed comic, but you just heard 60 minutes with zero weed in it. Because ultimately, we were at a time where the casinos and the places that were booking the shows wouldn't take a weed comic. I mean, and now, and I use those parentheses in the air when I say that, but now it's different. Now I guess everybody's coming around, and so it's definitely changed the scene. But you're right, there was a time when a weed comic just meant you weren't getting into the mainstream places.
Yeah, it did mean that, and also, if you're not, I think there's that moment where you're working the circuit and you're not a big super name, so you're going to these casinos that you walk in and they say, oh, well, we have rules, and you can't wear a tuxedo on stage, and you can't take the Lord's name in vain. You're like, really? And you're like, how much
casinos that are built on sin that leave their rules on your pillow. What
right.
The hell is that?
Yeah. And you're like, really? Like, am I in hell right now? I mean, like, why did you, like, and
do you just go into those shows looking at them like as a dare? Like,
well,
almost like it's like
God.
they dare you, like it's like, don't talk about this, don't say this, and definitely don't mention that. It's like the only thing I want to do is start spitting out this, that, and that. All the the few things they said don't do is the first thing I want to just spit out while I'm up there. Is that not running in the back of anybody else's head?
yes.
Like, they might have had the show
absolutely.
that they paid for to get, like, they pay you for a show, and you assume that they know what your act is, and they pay you for a certain show, so they know what they're getting, but then they give you a list of these rules that have, like, and most of the time, a lot of it's, like, not in your act to begin with. So now it's like, right. I'm sitting there trying to figure out ways to incorporate it.
Yeah.
Right.
While I'm on stage, I'm in the back of my head trying to figure out a way to incorporate this, just because it's almost offensive to you.
Well, I sometimes I think it's subconscious. It's like, because like you end up saying it because they said for you not to say it, and that's actually a trick to get people to do something, is to tell them not to do it, and because you told them not to do it, they are compelled. They cannot help but do it. And on that, we got to take a commercial break. We'll be right back.
It's POS. It's power of suggestion. It's as old as psychology. I mean, you know what I mean? You say one thing and you trigger the brain. It's the same exact way. It's as old as time. But also as comedians, how many times has someone said, you know, hey, I'm going to flash you like this. Don't go off. Fuck, I don't even see a light. I give a shit. I'm going to do till I'm done. And then you're going to deal with it. And I know 100 comics like that. And if you tell me not to say fuck, I'm going to start off by throwing you a rant of them that you've never heard before. And that'll be how we do that.
Right. We're on a commercial right now, but it is okay to say fuck on the show. we don't have any rules here. But we got most of it.
Hey, I know which exactly run you're talking about, Terry, too, because I just did that casino run, and yeah, I was shocked at the amount. I mean, you know, you've got disgruntled, angry gamblers, you've got people pissed off, you've got drunks, you've got all this stuff outside, and ultimately, I can't say the F word. I can't say any sexual reference, you know, but we're talking about, again, a casino built on fame, you know?
Well, I mean, they said that when they go, well, don't do any sexual like gyrations on stage. I go, fuck, that's my whole act. Like, I can't do anything, you know.
Who was booking this? The people who were against Elvis don't do any sexual gyrations.
It's true.
I would frame that if I got that on a piece of paper. I would frame that. That is fucking awesome. It's like, who are you, Forrest Gump? Like, don't do it. Like, you can't do any sexual gyrations. That's just the fucking most. That would be the funniest request ever.
Yeah,
that's almost humorous in itself. Like how that joke writes itself.
It's true though. I mean, that's what it said. No, or something like that. No sexual gyrations or movements, or no. I'm like, well, god damn it. I mean, what am I gonna do for 30 minutes?
I remember when they blocked out Elvis's knees.
Right.
Well, you know what? I did a benefit about a month ago, and had a local Portland guy come down, and I had a bunch of comics. We knew that we were going to do this underage. We were going to let the underagers in. And I send little memos to Adam Norwest and everybody else that was on the lineup. But this guy from Portland, Boomer, who I love, came down, and he was a last-minute addition, so he never got an email. So in the crowd, we had a bunch of 19-year-olds. We had a bunch of church-going folks. We had grandparents. We had all that. The Boomer started off his set by saying, anal, blowjob, and cunt in the same sentence. I don't know how he pulled it off. And the whole place just rocked. I mean, he just shocked them. You know what I mean? You like, oh my God, empty mouth everywhere. As I go sprinting up to the stage to tell him you can't say that. And the bottom line is, telling a comic you can't say anything is a futile thing. It's just stupid. Like, as you said, Kevin, you're going to get the exact opposite. I did a wet t-shirt contest last week. I told these buds, do not take your shirts off. They all took their shirts off. It's just is, right? We're all rule breakers.
Right. Well, I think being a rule breaker is a good thing, though.
Yeah, some of them are, let's face it, when you run the club, every nipple shown is a potential $500 fine. So it's, I mean, at the end of the day, it sucks to be the only square in the room, but I mean, let's face it, every time you pull out your nipple, lady, I run the risk of not getting my bonus this month. You want to stop doing that? Again, you put you throw the white t-shirt, you sell sex, is what you're going to get, I mean, I'll tell you what, comedy's gone stale. Anybody that tells you that at this point is fooling themselves, and it's time to liven it up. And how do we liven it up? We liven it up with bringing 2-3 people on stage, acting shit out.
Oh, we're back?
We have to come up with new inventive ways, because right now it's stale, let's face it.
And we're back with more Hollywood Hemptress Hour on the Time for Hemp Network. In my virtual studio, I have Kevin Korn from Hardcore Entertainment. And also we have Reverend Junior High with us. and who's been doing stand-up for a long time, and also, pretty much having a marijuana persona.
Hey.
Yeah. Did you say something?
Huh? No, I'm sorry, Terry. I was not speaking to you.
Oh, okay. All right. I thought maybe you were. So welcome back. We were talking about some of the discrimination that we got earlier for being out and kind of wearing marijuana as part of our. I wouldn't say like it would be like our hook, but maybe. I mean, I know that I had done like a lot of marijuana themed shows. I did a lot of fundraisers for people that were had needed legal defense funds for they might have been a dispensary owner that got raided, and I did a lot of filming and brought them on shows and stuff like that. So yeah, I've been underneath that banner as well. But when did you start? I mean, did you start stand up before that and then included it, or did you just start out that way?
Well, I started. It's where my entrance in the stand-up was through the freak show. Actually, it was a completely left field. I've been in the entertainment business a long time. Avid smoker, of course, and card holder, grower, you name it. And of course, back in the day, I did it the same way we all did it. And now in Washington, we've got a different set of guidelines to go by, of course. But I went out and I did the freak show, and I got to see crowds of 2,500 a night, 40, 50, 60 days in a row, because that's how the circus, does their touring. And I just learned something that I think that all comedians learn in time, but I learned it before I ever did a comedy show, and that was crowd control and timing and entertaining, performing. Because for me, I'd rather they call me an entertainer than a comedian any day, ultimately. And so now the weird thing is just because when we start to write, Terry, Kevin, we write what we know.
Yeah.
I just went through a breakup, so a lot of my jokes right now for Saturday night are heavy on being single and what it was, what it's like nowadays, of course, because what I know. And so we being that same thing, except I don't want to be that guy that goes in and goes, like Spicoli, because we're not stupid.
Right.
And that's the persona we put out for far too long anyway.
Yes.
So we need to put well-thought, intelligent jokes together and still be a weak comic.
Yes.
See? Then we're breaking down those stereotypes.
I agree with, and that's been one of the things that I've been working towards too, is not to be stupid when I'm talking about it, but still be funny. Although here's my feeling a lot of times about, especially when you're working in bars or when you're needing to take an audience to a certain level. Sometimes I start out where that I know that's where they're at, right? Or I'll give them a little bit of the the silly part of it, but then I'll take them into that part, or I'll take them into like start off like in a certain way, and then go back to being a nugget of what they actually are used to. I don't know. It depends on the crowd. I mean, there's some crowds where you go into like for instance, we just had Jesse Spomberg on the show, and he was part of Fight Church TV, and I've performed in front of his crowd, and his crowd you can just go straight free into the smart stuff, and you can go political if you want to, and you can go into like a lot of different subject matters that I feel that if I go to Longview, and I'm not putting Longview down, but you when you say that it's a male community, I talk about my pussy first, and do sexual gyrations and everything that I would be like, fired for, not get paid for at the casino. But I'm not saying that I don't like to do that. I mean, I like expressing that material just as much as I like doing the other material as well. What I don't like as a comic is to be restricted and have somebody tell me what I can and cannot do. Because for me, I'm going, well, what's the point? This is why I'm doing it. I'm not doing it for you. This is, for me, I believe that stand-up is part of being the jester or the joker or the rebellion or the, the satirist that's pointing a finger at something. And no, you're not, in a way, you're not standing in line and just sitting there, oh yeah, behaving yourself. Oh, really? Did I hurt your feelings? So I don't give a fuck if I hurt your feelings or not in this moment. This is, it's that kind of, this burst of freedom for whatever time that you're up there is kind of how I see it. Do you guys kind of see it that way, or am I, or how do you see it?
I agree with you 100%. And honestly, as a guy that's been said pushes the envelope, the restriction part of it is clearly what gets me. But then again, I did learn after doing all the stuff and hitting the road. Then when I hooked up with a couple national acts, and we were doing rooms where even the headliner had restrictions, you're playing the game at that point. It's not a game that you want to play, but you understand. You came into this for one reason. You want to say what you wrote. You don't want it to be edited. You don't want it to be fucked with. You want it to be what you wrote. But at the end of the day, you want to tell jokes to dudes that are passing a hat and collecting $13 in the room, or you want to make that money and move on to a realistic level of actually working in this business. And so you find that you have to, but I agree with you, Terry. I fucking hate it. I don't want to be told what to do by anybody, let alone my only creative force, what makes me me. If you take all the shit out that I intended it to say, then it's not me anymore. It's a carbon cutout. So I agree with you 100%.
I agree. Being on both, I've been on both ends of the spectrum, and it's like this. I hate being told what I can and can't do, because to me it's like a dare. It's like, oh, you saying I can't do this? It's like, well, maybe I can. Right? Like, let's just see. Right? But at the same time, I've been a booker and I've had rooms where it's like, okay, don't talk about this, don't do this. You know what I'm saying? And so that happens, but at the same time, I look at it as it's a job, and you know ahead of time, that these are topics you can't talk about, and you say, okay, well, I'll take this job, and you take that money. You're essentially performing a job, and your job duties were laid out in front of you, and this is what you have to do. So you have to almost look at it that way. Now,
and it is fact, and then there'll be the argument that, because I do a lot of booking also, and so on that end, then it's, the booker, of course, is the evil demon in most comedians' world, and so they're immediately, oh, of course you said, because you're a booker. But no, I agree with you. I agree 100%.
It's a job. You know what? But here's my issue, though, is you still have the artist who get up there and not do it, or go up there and just go against everything you told them not to do. You know there's going to be at least one. They're going to go up there and they're going to do it. It happens 98.9% of the effing time. You know what I'm saying? It never fails. And then when you tell that person, why'd you do this? Now I can't book you. I can't book you again. Yada, yada, yada. And you have that conversation with them. Then, like Junior said, the booker is now the evil demon, the bad guy.
Well, I'll tell you what, for me personally, and this is something that I think I've come to, and sometimes I don't have this choice, because I need to make money, or I need to survive, and therefore, because of that, then there is a compensation of what I want to do artistically, so that I can deliver for the night. Or like when you go when you do a television set, you can't maybe you can say fuck, but it'd have to be approved, and it'd have to be a beeper, and like whatever. I mean, things are getting more liberal now on network television. But I know that when you are doing it, most of the time you have to change. You have to have another version of your joke, if you want to carry it into another medium. There are
like working a cruise ship.
A cruise ship, but for my feeling is that well, what is my advantage of having to make that type of choice? And to make that, and to have to do that, I mean, yeah, if I'm going to be able to be on television, sure, I'm going to edit to what I need to have, or, if I'm going to, if there's a job that's, that they're paying me $5,000 in one night to do, an hour worth for a corporate gig, okay, you bet I'm going to have the right material, and I'm going to carry it up, because I'm going to want to do that, if that's what I want to do. But I feel what irritates me is to be told when, you're driving thousands of miles to get there and tons of gas in your gas tank. And you walk up there and you get the same money that you were paid that people were paid since the 1980s. And then they try to tell you like what you're going to say. I'm like, you know what? I don't think so. I have a hard time coming to terms with like wanting to deliver
Those are
that.
the same people who leave you notes saying no sexual gyrations on stage.
Right. Yeah. I mean, just weird stuff. I mean, like weird rules. Don't take the Lord's name in vain. Well, you know what? I mean, for who?
How about don't? The bartender at the casino in Pendleton told me last month. I said, all right, man, how many drinks do I get? He said, oh, we don't allow the comedians to drink. I said, what did you just say?
What?
He said, yeah, we don't allow you guys to drink. I said, all right, man, I'll be over at the bar. So I went over to the bar, and then I had about 4 delivered to me in the green room and 2 on stage. I shit you not. They had the security waiting for me the moment I came off the stage to let me know. Now, at that point, I've already done it. What are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? We've already passed that one. So, but they still took the time to come up and let me know why what I had just done was unacceptable at that casino.
Yeah, I've gotten the we don't let our comics drink either. It's like, well, what am I? Am I like the monkey in the zoo? Don't feed him a peanut. You know, I mean, it's like, I mean, how? Yeah, I mean, how is it? I'm the entertainer. Like, how is it that?
Part of my act.
Huh?
I tell them my excuse was it's part of my act. No matter what, it's part of my act. How you this is the act you book. This is the act you get. It's a part of my act.
Well, you know, it's like smoking. I understand smoking. So if the club doesn't have smoking in the club, then no one else will be smoking. So you can't smoke. But the club has drinking. I mean, I'm looking out at a sea of other people drinking. We're all adults.
They make the majority of their money. They make a lot of their money off alcohol sales. It's a 200% to 400% markup. You know this, Mr. GM. I mean, the money on alcohol is where you make your money. You can let people in for free all night as long as they're buying drinks.
Yeah, exactly. You know, and I know a lot of comedians that get old, like as their years go on. I knew some guys back in the day, they drank like nobody's business, and now you see them go up there with a bottle of water, and I respect that, and I respect what they do, but don't undersell the guy that's partying and that comes in. I am the guy that's going to party. I will be at your bar at the end of the night. But don't undersell what I'm going to give the crowd. It's going to be as exciting and as good as the guy you just brought on with a bottle of water.
Right? How many shows, and I know this from my personal experience, and I'm going to ask you guys, how many shows have you gone to where you got treated well, everything went well, the show was awesome, you got paid, and you stayed and blew the money you got paid in the venue that paid you?
Yeah.
Seriously. I have done this like countless times.
I've never done that.
You have never turned around and partied and then
I've
paid,
partied, but like after that, like usually,
hard.
I mean, well,
Like,
but I can only handle a certain amount of drinks anyways, or otherwise I throw up.
See me?
Now,
Junior, have you ever done this?
Oh, you know I have, and usually my tablet puts anyway, brother. You know that
I know, man. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. It's like I know I've done this. I know you've done this, and I mean I've done this, and it's like, but I won't do it. If I go somewhere and it treats me like crap, and it's horrible, and it's like, oh, that's the way it is. It's like, give me my money, let me go. I'm out of here. Yeah. But but places that treat me right, I'll stay there, party with the people. I'll put on a show.
That's the thing, though. You got to remember, if you just got $200 and you were up there doing an hour, okay, so every minute that you stay after that hour, your hourly pay is going down considerably. If you stay there an hour, even if you didn't spend anything, you just cut your hours in half. And once I started thinking of it like that,
time is money, correct?
Right. So if I spend 2 hours at the bar, in essence, my hour up there on stage it's about $50 now. You see, so I get that 5-minute rule. Meet, greet, hey, what's up? Shake some hands, sell a shirt. The fuck out of there. I get that. I really do.
Yep.
But I
I
am
don't
one
know.
of
It's
those.
true.
I am one of those comics that will stay.
But if they treat you well, and I'm saying like I've been treated well, where I'm liquored up by the time I'm off stage. I'm feeling good. I'm happy. The crowd's happy. Everybody's having a good time. It's like, fuck, I don't really want to leave. I'm having a good time, so I stay.
Right.
Yeah, I do too.
And at that point, the venue's like, well, you're paid. We're done. Your bills, your tab's off. To do great. I run another one. I'm buying drinks. I mean, I'm putting on the show. The show continues for me. I have a good night. I put on the show. I leave happy. I still have a little bit of money in my pocket, but nowhere near what I got paid, because I turned around and I gave it back to the venue. Basically, to keep the perks coming for my time, like Junior said.
And on that note, we do need to take a commercial break. I wonder the day when we have our cannabis cafes or our, places where we'll be performing at, if we can't smoke on stage or during that evening. Now that would really suck. And we'll be right back with more Reverend Junior High and Kevin Korn.
Good bit.
Yeah?
That was a good little bit there.
Cool.
Everyone.
Hey guys, I got people over here at the club. I got a fucking bail. I got a whole group of people out here I gotta tend to.
Really?
Yeah. So I mean, what I can do, like I was gonna put you on mute. If you and Kevin can just carry for a little bit, I can come back on. I'll be heading home. I'll be in my car. I'll have my car. But I'm gonna need about 5 minutes to clear out of here.
Oh, that's fine.
So
We'll call you back.
I can put it on mute, and I'm hearing you guys, but I can't chime in.
Okay. What happens is that we're gonna go into 5 minutes until the hour, and and then we go into our second segment, and so then after that, we'll just check it. We'll check in with you.
You try to call Alex.
Or like when we go on commercial break again, then just maybe they can check in with us and let us know that that you're back or whatever.
I'm gonna call Northflat from my cell phone. I'm gonna call his cell phone and see if he picks up, Sasha.
Okay.
Okay, that's perfect. I got you on mute, Terry, and I'm gonna wrap up what I got going on over here.
Okay. All right.
All right.
We can call you back at the top of the hour.
He says he's gonna have it. He's not gonna disconnect. He's gonna have it on mute.
Oh, okay, great.
And then just kind of still be connected to us. But then like once he get, I guess I just, yeah.
We got this.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ain't no thing but a chicken wing on a string.
That's over in 3 minutes. Which one did you want to play first? I want to hold your hand or the Jason Stewart joke.
Let's do I Want to Hold Your Hand.
Okay.
And do we want to you want me to we want to come into it?
Did you want to talk before it or something?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and do that.
So can I ask a question, Terry?
Yeah.
Did one of us add Paul Mooney into Trips?
No, he requested us.
Is that real?
It's real. I believe it's real. Did you look at his profile? He doesn't. You can't even.
I couldn't even get a friend request.
You can't. He's over his friend request limit. He has like.
I know. It was totally. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I'm loving life.
He friend requested Trips.
I know.
Isn't it? I mean, it made me so happy this morning. I was like, I had to look twice. Are you fucking kidding me? Paul Mooney?
Do you know how often you know what's really cool about it? Do you know how often I have to actually tell people, like, who's Paul Mooney? And I have to explain, like, the God that he is, right?
Right.
And people are like, really? And I'm like, yes. And then they're like, oh. And then it's like, it was weird, like, when Trips, it was just me, you, and Northflat, and all of a sudden now, if you look, there's a bunch of people commenting on that. Like, they all seem to know who he is. Like, or what he means to the comedy world, because a lot of people don't know, like, everything he wrote for, because, his writing is beyond his, stand-up.
Yeah.
His writing is, like, Jesus, if you can have that guy be a co-writer on your show, you're making at least $1 million.
Right.
Quick.
Well, I mean, I'm curious to find. I'm curious to see. I'm curious of what drew him to us. And
that's what weirds me out too, because I always assumed he was slightly kind of racist. Like against white people.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, when I hear, because I've been analyzing like what might be going on.
Jim Carrey help.
He's a very vocal comedian he's very opinionated. And we've been pretty opinionated. He's also very edgy. He doesn't really, like he doesn't spar any words or, it's like, he'll say whatever, and we've also been posting stuff too that we're, like hip hop and stuff, we're not
We gotta save this for trips. We gotta save this for trips.
Right.
We gotta save this for trips tonight because I got a whole lot of shit I want to say. Like we gotta save this topic for trips.
Okay. All right.
It's just awkward. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah. I mean, I think it's really super cool. Well, we do have like Lori Buckley. Lori Buckley's known by a lot of comedians in our group. We've got.
I've noticed we've been getting a lot of like bigger names wanting to join the group.
Rick Overton's been commenting a lot on our stuff. So I think our group might be getting really interesting, and I'm excited about it.
Steve Danks has been sending me messages, like private messages, Facebook messages. We've been talking through just messaging on Facebook.
Yeah, me too.
Steve Danks is cool.
Yeah.
All right, the song's starting right
here. Okay.
Steve Danks is a cool guy.
Yeah, he is.
Can't hide. I can't hide.
You have reached the Sprint voicemail box of 5039.
Oh, please, say to me, you let me be your man. Please, say to me, you let me be your man. I wanna hold your hand now, so let me hold your hand. I wanna hold your hand.
Welcome back. Are we back?
We're back.
Welcome back to Hollywood Hemptress Hour on the Time for Hemp Network on iHeartRadio. Our guest did have to leave for a moment, junior high. He is working at he is a GM at a bar and restaurant in Longview, Washington. So he had to take a moment. Again, I think this is like kind of like guerrilla radio here. But I do have Kevin Korn is co-hosting tonight, and it's never a dull moment with Kevin Korn. I mean, I think Kevin and I can talk for hours, and I'm happy to have him here. Kevin Korn from Hardcore Entertainment. Welcome back, Kevin, to the show.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
Cool. I mean, I thank you. I'm glad you think it's good to be here. Now I sound like a real stoned person because it's 1:49 in the morning and I do have a little bit of a buzz. Here's one thing.
12:49.
It's 12:45. See, like, hey, I'm even saying it to. I skipped up an hour. There's something that I would like to. I've been wanting to talk about on the show. Somebody sent it to me through Facebook, actually a mutual friend of ours, and it's basically it's an article titled "ATF uses rogue tactics in storefront stings across the nation," and a lot of some of the happenings that's it's
Don't trust the ATF.
right. Don't trust the ATF.
No, man, those people have been. It's like this. Every time those people show up and touch something, it'll all disappear in like paperwork, and then like 2 or 3 years later there'll be like a Senate hearing or some judicial hearing where there's like whoever was in charge of them at the time is facing a whole committee about their, and they're always in trouble. They're always wrong for what they do. If they show up, start shooting instantly, because there's no, whether you shoot or not, they're gonna start shooting. So like if they're like the ATF is like the front line militant. Just if they come in, they just swoop everything. They just destroy everything. They're like a virus that just multiplies instantly as soon as they touch ground. They're bad news. Let's put it that way.
Well, what I found interesting about the article was that a lot of the stuff took place here in Portland and also in Milwaukee, and
What?
yeah, and one of the things.
Alcohol, tobacco, firearms.
Yeah, well, here's let me read a little bit of it to you, just so you can kind of you and the audience can kind of get an idea of what might be going on. But it says Aaron Key wasn't sure he wanted a tattoo on his neck, especially one of a giant squid smoking a joint. But the guys running Squid Smoke Shop in Portland, Oregon convinced him. It would be a perfect way to promote their store. They would even pay him and a friend $150 apiece if they agreed to turn their bodies into walking billboards. Key, who was mentally disabled, was swayed. He and his friend Marcus Glover liked squids. It was their hangout. The 19-year-old spent many afternoons there.
I know Marcus.
Okay, all right, so you know these guys. Okay, they spent many afternoons playing Xbox and chatting with the owner Squid and the store clerks. So they took the money and got the ink etched on their necks, tentacles creeping down their collarbones. It would be months before the young men learned the whole thing was a setup. The guys running Squids were actually undercover ATF agents conducting a sting to get guns away from criminals and drugs off the street.
Marcus is retarded. Okay, so I don't know if Marcus is retarded.
Okay.
I don't know if I like literally by the words. Like I know you're not supposed to say that word, whatever. That is the medical term, mental retardation.
Uh-huh.
He actually has mental retardation.
Okay, well, it continues. It gets even worse.
Okay.
Okay.
I'd love to hear that.
So
they paid
okay.
Marcus $150.
Right. So
put a tattoo of something on his
And it says the tattoos have been sponsored by the U.S. government. Advertisements were fake storefront. The teens found out as they were arrested and booked into jail. Earlier this year, when the Milwaukee Journal Centennial exposed a botched ATF sting in Milwaukee that includes agents hiring a brain-damaged man to promote an undercover storefront, and then arresting him for his work. ATF officials told Congress the failed Milwaukee operation was an isolated case of inadequate supervision. It wasn't. The Journal Centennial reviewed thousands of pages of court records, police reports, and other documents, and interviewed dozens of people involved in 6 ATF operations nationwide, and they were publicly praised by the ATF in recent years for nabbing violent criminals and making cities safer.
Yeah.
Now, basically, this has been going on. ATF agents befriended mentally disabled people to drum up businesses and later arrested them in at least 4 cities in addition to Milwaukee. In Wichita, Kansas.
What it sounds like is they do this in order to create media attention, in order to generate funds,
Uh-huh.
and to keep it going. But that's weird because Marcus is. It's weird that they picked a target that everybody in Clackamas knows. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
If you say more than if you share more than 2 sentences with Marcus back and forth, you understand he's mentally retarded. So there's no confusion.
Oh, okay. So that's where Junior comes back on the show, right on that line, right there.
Yeah, I've been listening.
And you know what? On the on that we
I don't care. Here's the thing. I know him, and I don't care. Like I know him personally. Like literally, I know him. Like I lived in the same house with him for 4 fucking months. Okay, not because I'm crazy or mentally retarded, but because that's how Clackamas County fucking shit me around. And I happen to know this kid. That's why I thought it was funny.
So you knew? Did you know him from jail? I mean, like Kevin, did you know him from jail?
I knew him from work release.
Okay.
But I met him before that. I had met him many a times before that. But I literally lived with this kid for 4 months. He's like, and he's not a kid. He's my age. I'm 31 years old. You know what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
He's around my age. But so he's a grown adult, but he is not mentally capable of making decisions on his own, and that is apparent.
Okay, you know what? We do have to take a commercial break. We're gonna come back, right back, and discuss this further. We'll be right back. Stay tuned. All right, so we're on break.
Yep.
Cool. All right, so
It's fucking I'm gonna go. Hey, I'll give you $150 if you let me tattoo you, and then I'm gonna arrest you for a tattoo.
yeah, I mean, well,
And base it around 1, they based it around pot, and 2, it was around gun control. What the fuck is the ATF doing with pot? ATF should alcohol, tobacco, firearms.
right. It really.
There's no pot. There's no medical marijuana. There's no cannabis. There's no letter they can even try to attribute to that.
I mean, there's just tons of stories. I'll read a couple more.
Alcohol, tobacco, and fire. You're smoking fire.
I'm gonna intersperse with a couple more facts about it when we get back. But it really goes on.
Marcus into saying whatever the fuck they could, or getting Marcus into doing whatever he could, and then setting him up for it. But isn't this what they did to this little Arab kid for saying what's his name? That kid that they gave a visa to, they knew.
Okay, hold on to this conversation.
His name was Yusuf, wasn't it? Whatever happened to little Yusuf?
Okay, but like I think we need to talk about, like, I'm afraid we're gonna shoot our wad before we get back on the radio.
Nah, I can hold it.
Not very long.
Who was that? Was that Summer? I heard something not for very long. Not for very long. Hi, Summer.
Hi.
Oh, Sasha, how much time do we have?
2.5 minutes.
Okay. Okay, yeah, I can go put a little bit more bud in here. I'm gonna be right back. Hold on, I'll be right back. Er.
7.
Yo, what's up, buddy?
How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. Dude, I've been co-hosting this show. Our other show, Trips, has just blowing up. We're doing that's just going crazy. I'm working with a record label out of Washington right now, and we're booking shows. We just did a show with Wu-Tang, which was weird.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it was a variety show. It was half comedy, half like rap, and then we had this like island like reggae band that kind of melded it all together. We did comedy first, and we went into this island reggae band, and then it went into hip hop, and it just kind of worked, man.
Damn it.
Yeah. Good shit.
Glasses.
Yeah.
You might want to look in when I send you some video about these 2 broads I got with me on stage. You might want to look into that.
No, man. Hey, buddy, I'll book you again. You know I have no problem with you, buddy. I'll book you. We went into a war zone, and I apologize. I had no idea that would be that way, and I hated that to be our first booking together. But it was a complete war zone, and you handled it like a complete trooper, like a straight warrior, and I appreciate it, dude, and I respect you for that.
Yeah, absolutely. We've all been there, dude. I don't know how many.
So I respect you for doing what you were there to do. I respect you for it, and I appreciate it. And like I said, I will rebook you. I just really haven't been booking shows because I've been so busy. Honestly, I really didn't want to do anything until the new year. Starting in January, I have a list of venues already. I'm gonna open up and I'm gonna go ham on a lot of different places and a lot of people, and they have no idea it's coming. But it's already in the works. You know what I'm saying?
No. Oh, yeah.
It's already in the works. Everybody thought they stepped on my toes and thought they chopped my head off, but you know what happens when you chop the head off of a fucking crazy ass snake? It comes back with 3 more.
Amen. They've been trying to keep me down for years, brother.
Right?
And we're back. We're back with more Hollywood Hemptress Hour. Thank you for staying tuned. It is now, well, who cares what time it is? It's 1:01. And I'm here with my co-host, Kevin Korn from Hardcore Entertainment, and also from the web series Trips. And I have a comedian and cannabis activist, and Reverend Junior High is back with us too. Before the break, we were talking about it looks like fake, like it sounds like coercion by the ATF, and we were.
Here's something that a lot of people don't understand, and I'd like to correct this terminology. Whenever you see something on paper and it says controlled by, right, or a controlled sale of a controlled substance, I don't think people understand what the word controlled means. Okay? Controlled means they know where it came from, where it started from, its origins. Where it came from, how it got into that, all the way down to how it got into that person's hands. So a controlled buy means that they know who the dealer is. They know where the dealer is getting the drugs. They know who the dealer's selling it to. They got the guy that's buying it online. They know the guy, they know every single thing about it before it even happens. It's like it even though it's happening in real time, it's like a play acting out. All the way down to where the transaction hands off, right? They know it's already predetermined and what really fucks them up is if you're one of these people that are like wearing a wire and you're doing this, and you sidestep or you change the location, like you hop in their car real quick and drive around the block, that really pisses them off because that's not in the plan. But but the whole point is that if the word control means they know everything. What's scary about that is what they don't let you in on is you start going, of course they knew what these people were going to do. They set it all up, right? What you don't understand is they knew the origins of the drugs themselves that got handed between two people for money. Meaning they knew where that drug was either made, created, where it was packaged, how many hands it went through, how it ended up in this guy's hand before it got sold to their narc. In order for it to be called a controlled buy, they have to have all of that info. That is a fact.
Okay, well, I also want to go with among the findings that they found, because these are quite interesting of how these operations have been behaving.
Yeah,
Well, no, this. Okay, so ATF agents befriended mentally disabled people to drum up business and later arrested them at least 4 cities in addition to Milwaukee, Wichita, Kansas. ATF agents referred to a man with a low IQ as slow-headed before deciding to secretly use him as a key cog in their sting. And agents in Albuquerque, New Mexico, gave a brain-damaged drug addict with little knowledge of weapons a tutorial on machine guns, hoping that he could find one. Agents in several cities opened undercover gun and drug buying operations in safe zones near churches and schools, allowed juveniles to come in and play video games and teens to smoke marijuana, and provided alcohol to underage youths. In Portland, attorneys for 3 teens who were charged said a female agent dressed provocatively, flirted with boys, and encouraged them to bring drugs and weapons to the store to sell. Now, what I find interesting is like
that is entrapment.
Right, and also what I find ironic is
by every sense of the word. You hired a young female to sell sex, to trade sex for drugs or weapons to young boys, and then you arrested the young boys. That is entrapment.
Yes.
That's no different than the sex trade. They're no different than pimps.
Okay, so then like, and then also what I find interesting, ironic about this is that a medical marijuana dispensary can't be near a school zoning, but then they have these operations right by the school.
I know of a ton of them near schools.
They're not supposed to be in California. In California, they're not allowed to be zoned that way. And if they are, yeah, I don't know what the Oregon zoning is, but it's definitely that way in Los Angeles.
If you pay the rent, you can have a dispensary.
Right.
Yeah.
Or you can say if you can pay the rent, you can have a dispensary. They really don't have a zoning law against them right
now. They do. They're very much.
They had to change their law on that whole thing because they were counting regular public bus stops as school bus stops. So basically, anywhere that you had a bus stop, which is basically everywhere, you in essence were within a school zone. And so, in fact, I know a guy who fought that, and that whole writing of those laws were changed to be because, actually in the state of Washington, a public bus stop is considered a school zone.
See? That's a good one. That's awkward. So they changed that?
Right, yeah, because a friend of mine got busted within what would have been called the school zone, though there was no school within the so-called school zone, and he fought it. Yeah, yes, sir.
Good for him.
Okay, so here's another thing that they did. Agents damaged buildings they rented for their operations, tearing out walls and rewiring electricity, then stuck the landlords with repair bills.
What that means is what they did is they commandeered a building, right?
Uh-huh.
That was probably for rent. They gave them their rental fees, but they hooked up their own wiring for their own cameras, their own shit.
Yes.
Right.
And then they ripped those wiring out.
Yeah, and
now the owner's pissed because he wants that wiring back because those would be great security cameras. They don't. Most of the time, though, that wiring doesn't go in the walls to damage drywall because, like, they're gonna hire contractors to come and put them in to hide them, right? And then just tear them out of the wall. That's just ridiculous.
Well,
the wires and the cameras are all outside of the walls.
Well, it says a property owner in Portland said agents removed a parking lot spotlight, damaging her new $30,000 roof and causing leaks before they shut down the operation and disappeared without a way for her to contact them.
So I know where this building is, and I will tell you right now, there's a giant tree that's been there for 100,000 fucking years, and it had nothing to do with that operation. And that tree drops needles and pine cones and shit on her roof. And I'm going to go ahead and say that's what caused the leaks in her roof, because she probably had a shitty roof to begin with, and she's looking for a way out, so she's blaming it on these assholes to get paid insurance. As far as the street lamp light, oh yeah, they probably did take that out. I ain't going to deny that. They probably, if that light shined and they didn't like, where it lit up, they'd take the light out. But they didn't damage her fucking roof. That got done by her not having it swept every year, and upkeep on the building. That's what I'm saying. This is my intake on all this. But honestly, I find it really fucked up. They got caught because they picked a high-profile retard.
Well, no, they've done it to more. I mean, like this goes.
They've been doing it and getting away with it. But they came to Milwaukee, Oregon, and picked a high profile. They picked the retard and did it to him too. But he was high profile. They didn't realize that everybody in the community knew this guy. Because at some point, everybody in Clackamas at some point has ridden the fucking bus. And if you've ridden the bus in fucking Portland, Oregon, you fit on the 33. From Portland through McLaughlin, you have up to Oregon City. Everybody has hit that bus at least once in their life. This guy lived on that bus.
Okay, well, here's how disgusting it is, Kevin. It says Tony Bruner was looking for a job when he noticed a new store opening blocks from where he lived with his grandmother in a lower-income neighborhood in Wichita, just east of Interstate 135. With an IQ in the mid-50s, considered extremely intellectually deficient, Bruno hadn't been able to hold down a job. So this, okay.
But his name was Bruno.
Yes. I'm sorry, Bruner. It was Bruner. I said that wrong. It's Bruner.
Bruno in Wichita, Kansas, with an IQ of 50, couldn't hold down a job. Imagine that.
Imagine that.
And this is why people at McDonald's want higher minimum wage. Just saying.
Okay.
Because McDonald's is holding a gun to their head saying this is the only place you can work.
Yeah, right.
Well, you mentioned a theory last night about
all of it's fake.
Like they're protesting and they're gonna raise their rates, and then they're gonna raise they're gonna raise the food because they want to raise the rates at McDonald's because they have to pay more money, so like the corporation still wins, and so it's like
No, it's not about raising the rates at McDonald's. Here's what's happening, okay? Here's what people are understanding. So what they're doing is they're putting on this show, pretending that all these like McDonald's and other employees are like begging for a higher minimum wage because they can't pay their bills, right? Well, no one's telling them to take a minimum wage job, and then they're going, but that's all I can get, and then we're supposed to go, oh, because that's all you can get, we should give you more. No, you should have put in the time and effort like everybody else did to get to a level where you didn't have to work that job. You know what I'm saying? Like, or you work that job to get experience to get to a higher level. You have to put in at some point in time. You can't fuck off through life from the time you're born till you're 40 years old and then decide that because you're 42 and you want to do it now, you should be able to start off as a CEO. It doesn't fucking work that way. Everybody else who started off at 16 and time and work to get there, they're looking at you like, who the fuck are you? Right? So, my whole point is if you're so broke and you're forced to work at McDonald's, right? You're so broke and you're forced to work at McDonald's to feed your kids at home. How are you affording to picket it for 2 weeks? To ask for more money? Right? You're not. What I believe is McDonald's is actually paying their employees to ask for more money and to picket it. The people that are picketing it, that are employed by McDonald's, are actually still receiving paychecks. And here's my reason for believing this. It is because we raised the debt ceiling, right? And because we raised the debt ceiling, we have nothing to back it up. So what do we have to do? We have to print more money. The only way to keep the dollar at the value, the shit value it is now, even, is we have to raise the money we bring in. So what we have to do is we have to raise the cost of GDP, the cost of goods. So the cost of goods are going to rise. Everything you buy will now be $1 to $2 more expensive. Seriously. That's what they want to do. But in order to do that, they would actually have to pay us $1 to $2 more per hour. It's called checks and balances. You're not really losing any more money. You're not really spending any more money. It's all different numbers on paper, just to make their numbers look good. But no matter what, their numbers will never look good. It's called trickle-down economics, and it's called stupid, retarded math.
But when you think... When you think about it,
their math is as retarded as the people that ATF are picking
when you think about it, though, at least that they are getting a raise. I mean, like so what? So
at least yes. Okay, so here's the deal. So now they're gonna get $12 an hour for flipping burgers, but they're gonna have to pay $7 a gallon for milk. Did it really win? Does it change anything? Nothing changes.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't win. But I want to get back to onto the topic of the ATF thing, because I have an idea. I have an idea of maybe where this is going. Why this is happening that's what I want to theorize about here in a moment. And this is one of the things that they did here was there's another story of a guy. Guillermo Meta was a heroin addict and a drug dealer hoping to make some cash to support his habit when a friend brought him to Joker's Traders pawn shop in a strip mall in a working-class neighborhood on San Mateo Boulevard in Albuquerque. The 25-year-old Meta, who had been convicted for a felony drug possession and conspiracy to commit aggravated assault, carried a revolver for protection but had never dealt in guns, according to the court records. When the undercover ATF agents running the store offered him $400 for his gun, he saw an opportunity. He didn't sell it then. He said he needed it. But over time, he developed a relationship with the agents, bringing them guns he would get from trading drugs on the street. When they asked for a machine gun, Metal thought he had one of them. One problem, he didn't know what a machine gun was. Metal had brain damage. He'd been a drunken driver when he was hit by a drunken driver when he was 7, and Metal had spent months in a mental institution, never fully recovered. So basically, they're causing him, a mentally challenged person, from an injury to drug traffic, or to drug traffic and gun traffic, which is like, and then we can get into, Operation Fast and Furious, and, I mean, like, where, like, and this is all happening in the midst of, TSA shootings and all these, these things that we think are like, what we talked about on the show is maybe possibly being like even false flags. You have the ATF actually setting up mentally challenged people, then taking them to jail and incarcerating them. So, I mean, and I don't want to sound like, I'm like a paranoid pot smoker, but I'm going, okay, if you're setting people up to go into jail, is that what it's about? You're just incarcerating people. You're like, okay, well, we need to get rid of you, and we're going to go ahead and do this. And we're gonna, and you over here, well, you're, a minority in a poor neighborhood, and we don't need you either. And we know you're desperate for money. You've got this weak spot, so we're gonna like put you in this area. We're just gonna do all these things to you, and then we're just gonna like keep incarcerating you. Now you're a criminal. We have a reason to lock you up, and now we have, and we can make more money off of you in jail than we can having you actually just be out on the streets anyways.
And that's it right there. You just said it right there, Terry. That's exactly it.
Yeah, it all boils down to exactly that. That's exactly why they do it. But my question is like, who runs a financial program that picks on retarded people and doesn't expect it to come bite them in the ass at some point? Like, what kind of... did they have somebody half retarded who developed this program who was like, I want to get my friends involved?
Well, I think it's disgusting. I mean,
totally
the whole thing is
ridiculous.
disgusting to do that. And we do need to take a commercial break, and we'll be right back with more Hollywood Hemptress Hour. Stay tuned.
I said retard like 7 times, and I even made fun of retarded people. If I'm not hated by the time this show is over, fuck it.
I might be hated
I'm gonna have Artie Lang status by the time we're done.
I mean, I think I might be hated too, because I laughed a little bit. Like,
I laughed a little bit. This was fun.
Hey, I'm still using all those politically incorrect words. I throw midget out on the daily. I call Brad Williams a midget. Who gives a shit?
I do it too. So
look, man.
I
politically
kept it 100%.
Me now. You know?
I almost went into the fact that like you talked about being in like Wichita, Kansas, and then going into a club called Jokers. Like that's already bad news. Like you're talking about bikers. You're already talking about like fucking straight up bikers, and you're talking about one that got hit over the head and was retarded, spent some time in a facility and never recovered. But he knew the difference between handguns to sell them. But as soon as they asked for a machine gun and he sold him the machine gun, he goes, "I'm retarded and I didn't know what a machine gun was."
Right.
That one didn't sound as good as at least the one in Milwaukee. The guy I know, that guy is physically retarded. But the other story, the guy knew the difference between the guns he was selling them to begin with.
This has like several stories in it, and you know.
Well, I'm sure they have.
And they even gave one guy a
sure the whole
tutorial.
squad that ran that group had to release the records of everything they've done across the country. And if they had a connection for busting people with low IQs, then obviously my question is, it's not these ops that they ran, because these ops, obviously, you know, when they go in and they bust somebody with a low IQ, it's to get in and out, and usually it's to do funding. It's to get funding. It's a funding thing. They say, "Oh, we just busted this, and this, who was doing this, and this." All of a sudden, the people vote, and they get a bunch of funding. Okay, that's the idea.
Let's talk about how much that operation cost. You know, the operation costs shit compared to the funding they get. See, here's the thing: the operation probably costs a couple $100,000 over the course of 12 weeks, right? But they'll get a couple $100 million out of the funding. Right. State and federal. Right.
So you look at it and you do the terms of percentages. It costs them maybe 10% to run the op. If that. Yeah. Anywhere from 7 to 8% usually is a qualified funded op. If you can write it up and you can keep it at 7 to 8% of what it'll bring in, they'll fucking green light it. Just like fucking filming a movie.
Right.
They'll give you the green light. If you can get enough sponsors to say, yeah, we'll back it, they'll give you the green light to go film half of it.
Well, I mean, I think that maybe like there could be a better use for money, that like maybe like helping like homeless people rather than like doing that.
Money than everything that these assholes spend it on. Who buys an $8,000 padded toilet seat for an airplane?
I knew you were going there.
What? Like seriously, who does this? Kanye West? Get the fuck out of here. Kanye West is fucking half retarded. I only had to say that because, god damn it, Jason Stewart said that last night. And that man had rolling.
Welcome back to Hollywood Hemptress Hour on the Time for Hemp Network on iHeartRadio. I'm with Kevin Korn from Hardcore Entertainment, and also I'm with Reverend Junior High, comedian and activist, cannabis activist, and we are, welcome back, guys. We've been having a heated discussion about the ATF actually coercing mentally challenged young people into selling drugs and firearms and then incarcerating them. And it looks very much like it's not, that it's a setup. And like any other thoughts on that, guys? Kevin,
Well,
what?
to me, it's very close to what they did in Portland. And they busted that kid, that Yusuf kid, for the bombing. He was gonna bomb something.
Uh-huh.
They gave this retarded kid. This is what I never understood, and this is the part that they still haven't been able to explain. They gave a retarded kid a visa to go on a full ride scholarship to OSU, Oregon State University. Why are we giving a retarded kid a full ride from another third world country that's known to breed terrorists, right?
Uh-huh.
Why would we bring one of them to Oregon State University and give him a 3-year paid education and visa to enter the country and do this, right? And then his roommate that he was given was an undercover federal agent. They say FBI, but I think it was way deeper than that. And they trained this kid in the art of oh my God, they not in bomb making, but they were basically taught him all these Arabic thoughts and like weird things that and here's what's weird, he's from a third world, he's from where we claim this is an issue, and he didn't think like this, and we had to brainwash him into it to the point where we could get him chanting along with it. Basically, I think they punked him, like they had a couple of them in the room and were like, we're all doing this, you need to do it, got that like group mentality, and then recorded it. And then asked him to drive them to downtown Portland. And they're like, he's like, what else to drive? They're like, we rented a van. He goes, sure. They all hop in the back of the van. They all hop out and go, okay, go park the car. When they get to Portland, they have him drive to Portland. They get to Portland, they go, pull over here. He pulls over here and they're like, okay, now go park in the garage. They gave him the money to pay the parking attendant. He pulls into the parking garage, pays the parking attendant, and before he can even park the car, the feds surround him and say he's under arrest, and they find a bomb in the back of the van. This kid was retarded to begin with. His name was Yusuf. This is what they did. But you have to remember, at the time, we had a mayor. Okay, now here's the issue that I have with Portland. Portland had a mayor that, yeah, he had some issues, but he did some pretty decent things for the city. He didn't always stand. Towards the end, he went for the money grab, but the beginning of his career, which was at the beginning of his career, and his name was Sam Adams, right? He actually did something. He kicked the FBI out of Portland. A lot of people don't know this. He said the Federal Bureau of Government could not operate police operations in their city or district or counties. He kicked them out. So they set this kid up, and then they bust him, and they're like, this is why you need the feds. And the feds came back just like that.
Huh.
But what happened to Yusuf? What happened to the kid? Is he in a federal prison somewhere? Did we send him back to whatever country he came from? And if we did, is he recognized as a hero?
That's interesting. So mainly you're feeling that you're taking the ATF, situation and going, this is a setup, and here's another setup. So that it's a repeat pattern of like everything, that this is being done in all different areas where just people that maybe don't understand what's happening to them, they're used for an agenda of a more sinister plot or yeah.
Funding to keep their jobs.
Wow.
Here's the thing.
So how does marijuana play in this? I mean, how do you think? I mean, like to me, I think like now one of the two hottest topics right now, I think, in the media or in our culture is marijuana and gun control. So we've got these two things going on, and they're kind of they're also interrelated with one another too as well.
If you believe them, nothing's worse than a stoner with a gun.
Right.
Devin, I wanted to ask you something real quick because I know you're a PS4 guy. It's a little off the topic, but so with all this new talk about, how many planted agents are actually behind, and when you're playing your Call of Duty and when you're playing your shoot 'em up games, how many people are actually on the other end that are both either A, terrorists, spies, B, government officials placed out there. I mean, these are our stoner game players, and now the government's deemed it enough where we need to get out there because they believe that the terrorists and these groups are targeting through that way. So, two things. When did the terrorists figure out or believe that our stoner video playing nation had any secrets to share? Part one. And part two, when did the government jump on then again and believe it was worthy to plant these people, which now is not even an argument. It's like
I had answers to both of these questions. One, the first question was duck hunt. That's when people realized they had people's attentions. Two, I would say about the Panasonic 3DO. Remember that?
Yeah.
When that came out, that fucked up government like quick. That shit was removed. That shit was removed off the market almost as fast as you could buy it. That thing came out in the early 90s, like 91, 92, and that thing played interactive movies, interactive games where you chose the outcomes and it would play, and it looked real. It looked better than some of the graphics I see today. I'm dead serious. This shit happened so quick, they pulled them off the market, and then they pretty much bought them. If you had one, it was worth more than you paid for it. Like, when you bought it, it was maybe a few $100, right? A game store would give you $500-$600 for it. So you would sell it. The game store would then sell it to the government and get a $1,200 check back. This happened. If you can find a Panasonic 3DO right now that works, holy shit. You should find them on eBay. The ones that are on eBay that they claim that are on eBay, they either don't exist or when you get them, they don't work.
Well, so let me understand this. Are these, because I don't play video games, so I'm completely.
This is a game system that showed up on the market for maybe 12 weeks.
But you play games and there's another person actually playing the game with you from another place?
No, it played DVDs. It played Blu-rays. It played high-quality discs.
Okay.
Right? That were but these games were so in-depth, right?
Uh-huh.
Because all the games were made by the same company, Panasonic. So they already had the games. They had stripper games where you could control the stripper, tell it what moves to do on the pool and set up the whole dance, and then have the stripper come out and do it. It was the weirdest shit.
Well, what I think Terry was asking, though, Terry, it is. So let's say Kevin...
Yeah, now it is. Now it's all on duty.
Yeah. He's playing guys in any country across the world, and he could be playing anybody at anywhere. Yeah. And so the likelihood now that you could be speaking, like they asked the other day, I was watching the CNN, they were asking, what do you think the likelihood is that there are, in fact, spies? Let's say the average gamer, how many times has he come in contact with somebody who's a terrorist or somebody that's been planted out there either by our government or another? Then the guy's like,
twice a day.
At least twice a day. At least twice a day. And I mean, that's astronomical.
They're going to connect to every server open to that network.
So, I mean, and here's my head goes in two places when I hear this. I think, is this data mining? To find out, like,
exactly what it is.
And then the president just passed the again, I call the bill where you can be held as a domestic terrorist, as an American and not even stand trial. So, I mean, all this speculation, you could actually go, well, look what they were doing on this, this box, or somehow you get tapped into that through through these games. I mean, because like really, if you're playing with opposite real terrorists or real government snipers and things like that, then aren't you kind of mentally being trained at the same time their stuff?
Absolutely. That's what I said. They had this idea from the original Nintendo when they made Duck Hunt. The second they realized that they could get people to point the gun and pull the trigger, and not only they could get people, but here's the thing. When the first time my dad took me hunting, and this is a true story, first time my dad took me hunting, he had a gun, I had a gun, right? We sit there, we snipe out this deer, we get this deer, he sets it all up for me, I'm supposed to take the shot, I'm looking at the deer through the fucking scope, I wouldn't pull the trigger. I didn't pull the trigger. That deer got away. My dad bitched at me for weeks because of that. The meat we could have had in our freezer. Ooh, I didn't shoot because and I was weak. That's what I was told. I was weak at that point. I was considered weak because I wouldn't do what it took to provide, right?
I don't see that as weak. Go.
Well, you have to understand. This is how I grew up.
Right. Okay.
And I do understand that growing up, because I grew up in the hunter nation. But I was probably naturally a gatherer, right?
Yes.
But I was trained to be a hunter anyways, and I was so smart. I was able to adapt. I understand both parts, and I understand that there is a need for both. You cannot have one without the other. That's a fact. I get it. Okay, I get it. But at the same time, they're almost two separate worlds. And where it all ties in is I think marijuana and hemp is the only thing that can bring these worlds together. And get them to come to this, understanding. Because that's really where it's at. And I've learned a lot of weird things through science, especially just recently, especially about hemp, and about, food in general, because I've been doing a lot of things, because once I realized hemp was an herb, and I've been looking at it as more of a plant like cinnamon, or bay leaves, or oregano, and so I've been treating it in the sense. So I've been doing a lot of studies into that, and I come into a lot of veganism and a lot of, vegetarianism. And you know what I've come to find out, and this is really kind of weird, scientifically, right? What it takes, the amount of food that it takes to empower the human body and the human brain, if you do not eat meat, right?
Uh-huh.
You would have to eat hundreds of pounds of this, veggie food a day. Obviously, they're not doing that. So at the time is that you think you're being healthy and you're losing weight and you're feeling better, you're actually killing yourself from the inside out. That's a scientific fact. Do you know the reason people eat meat is because of the transference of energy? Right? So the energy you get from plant life is very minimal. And it takes energy to run the human brain, to create the cells that process.
See, now I just had some information where it's that the plants do have raw plants have good energy. Live food is what's important.
You're right. Raw does have energy. Raw has more energy than when you cook it. When you cook it, you cook a lot of the energy out. So the raw has the majority of the plant. But you would have to eat these raw vegetables by the hundreds of pounds to get the same energy transference that you would get out of a few bites of meat.
Okay.
That is the biggest issue that's not being talked about. Because of the transfer, honestly, and to be honest, meat raw. If you were just to kill an animal and cut a slab off of meat and eat it, that's better for you than after you buy it at a store and cook it.
Oh god, that sounds so terrible. But it might be why sushi's good.
That's true. It's better for you, other than the bacteria. That's the only reason we cook everything is because of bacteria.
You know, Kevin.
Because we've been brought up to not fight it.
I think you've I think you offended people by saying retarded so many times, and now you're talking about eating like just raw meat.
Well, you know what? Hey, Terry, let me just tell the rest of the group that Kevin didn't offend. I live my life. I live my life on 2.5 packs of Camel White a day. I haven't had water in like 3 months unless I take a shower. I smoke enough weed to drop a fucking elephant, and I need as much gluten as I can possibly get in my fucking system. Now, having said that, I went to Ashland, Oregon recently, which is a beautiful place. Did a great show. Had a great time. Couldn't find a drop of fucking gluten to save my life. Now it's 2 o'clock in the morning as I walk around looking for the two things that apparently every hippie in Ashland does not have. Which would be nicotine and gluten. And I'm going to tell you right now that the Reverend Junior High stands for all wonderful things and trans fats. So fuck off. There's that.
All right. On that, we need to take a commercial break. We'll be right back. Okay, cool. So Sasha, can we just come in to Jason Stewart's piece? Did you? Okay, and then I do want to make sure that we plug the event on Saturday. Because we're down to the last bit now. We end up 5 till, so let's make sure we get that in there before we end.
Right.
So, thanks for doing the show.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure. We're gonna have a blast Saturday too. Should be a fun. I'm thinking 200 people. So, hey, and I'm still looking for a guest. Kevin, why don't you come with Terry and do a guest spot?
You want to?
Is he gonna do trips?
I don't know. I mean, we can ask him.
Junior, we do a show called Trips after this, right after this, in about 30 minutes. Would you be willing to stay and do that one too?
Fucking hey, man, I'm an insomniac, bro. I'm gonna be sitting out here in my driveway.
Hey, only the good die young, so no sleep for the wicked, right? Amen.
All right, cool.
So, Kevin, did you hear what I asked Terry? You should come down and do a guest spot on Saturday.
On Saturday? I have no wheels, brother. My transmission just dropped out of my car. I'm trying to junk it so I can buy a new one.
I got you.
Oh, wow.
I got you.
If I had a ride, I'd come do a guest spot. Fuck it. Yeah, it pissed so many people off because I don't do shit in Portland, and that's just right up my alley is to go right outside into like Vancouver into Washington and do something. Because that's what I really like, I'm done with these guys. These guys have stepped on every toe I have. I mean, they've really pushed every nerve I've got, and I realized, you know what I realized? Ain't none of them move forward. Ain't none of them doing anything that I'm doing. All these people have nothing to look forward to.
Started on Portland radio. You want to get started about Portland comics on Portland radio?
Well, this isn't really this is international radio. we're like we're all over the world right now.
It's 2 in the afternoon over there, and they're listening to us.
Yeah, we have a European market. Like this is like.
We're on iHeartRadio, bud.
But you know what? I mean, we're actually just on my Ustream right now. This is only being recorded on my Ustream. But I'm gonna say right now too, I'm not.
We're off air right now.
we're not on the radio. But I'm not necessarily impressed with the I haven't felt very well received with the Portland comics either. And I'm trying to figure out like what the fuck is it? I mean like I've been in different comedy communities, and this one just really bites.
Hey, I'll tell you why, Terry. I'll tell you why. because they changed the pay scale years ago. They made it so that comedy wasn't important anymore. Because in Portland, if you have a pair of horn-rimmed glasses and a fucking pair of Dickies, you can get up on stage and tell dry, corny fucking jokes to 12 people that don't give a shit, and you can pass the hat around at the end of the night and drink a PBR. And that does not make you a comedian. They've destroyed the comedy scene in Portland. Destroyed it. You know, when I say that, I mean every single fucking open mic comic in Portland dating back until 10 years ago. 10 years ago. The hierarchy in Portland is ridiculous.
Yes,
it's young comics
it is.
who don't even want to come in because they feel like they're getting
Are we back?
And I've done more shows than all of the only Portland guys I respect are Slade and Rocky.
Okay, we're back. Oh.
Singer, Grammy winner, she has these really big turbans. And I said very politely, bitch, can you move over? Can't you share? You don't want to block the guy over Cher, she's ours. Cher was backstage singing, if you could turn back time.
She's stomping on stage, I love it.
We all know she's had more hands up her dress than the Muppets. Anyway. She had a blonde wig on. She looked like Ian McKellen in Lord of the Rings. And then Cher started to sing and everything. It was fun. And then Erykah Badu actually started to talk to me. And she was wearing this sort of African-centric dress. It was all brown with this green tubing and this Velcro that went around in a circle. Looked like she'd fallen down a hill and whatever shit stuck to it. That was the dress. And then you go backstage and you get to see everybody. Everybody was going up and everybody was going down. I thought I was going to see Brad and Angelina, and instead I met Richard Simmons. I don't mean to diss him because he's a brother and a sister.
Welcome back to Hollywood Hemptress Hour. That was Jason Stewart, a comedy clip there. He was on the show a couple nights ago. We just thought we'd play it again because we loved him so much. We're down to the last bit of the show. We've got Reverend Junior High with us, and Kevin Korn, and from Hardcore Entertainment, and we all love to smoke pot, and we think it should be legal everywhere in the whole world, and we believe in hemp, and so. Well, anyway, but you know, I kind of feel like, you know, on the break we're talking about, like, you know, being in the Portland comedy scene, and I certainly don't want to, like, you know, we don't have to open that can of worms here right now, because, you know, but I kind of feel like the three of us are kind of like outlaws, you know. You know, it's kind of like
2013 Jesse James, baby.
Kevin, I really like to think that in the Portland post offices of comedy, it's my face that hangs on the number one. Hated. I really like to think that. You might be two, but I really think I'm up there.
No, I'm the most hated. No, I'm the most.
You know, I came, and when I came in, I went after my own crown. I didn't know there was already a number one hated, but I didn't realize I was trying to superimpose on your ground. But I'm sure after all the first comics you've had up there, you realize I might be sliding in.
I know I've given them good shows here over the last 6 months. They might actually be talking nice. I'll tell you, our first conversation ever, you reached out, we were talking, you said, your name came across my desk 2 times today, which is impressive, seeing as you're in Florida. What's also more impressive is you might be more hated than I am by the Florida. Oh, cool. Who the fuck is this guy? I want to talk to him.
That's usually, yeah, you know, if everyone's gonna, you know, if I'm gonna get a bunch of hate mail from a bunch of Portland comics, go, don't work with this guy, don't work with this guy. I'm gonna ask this guy, why don't they want me to work with you? Because I know after every time I work with them, and I pay them, I work with the next comic, and they go, all these people said not to work with you. And I go, what? They think they're like, what am I like? They're like, am I like their black friend, or like the black guy with the white friend? Like, I'm the only one they can have? Like, what's the deal? Like, am I the new slave? Like, hey, don't work with him. He's got money. He's all mine. No, I can't book you at the same venue over and over again. What are you thinking, you fucking... See, these
because they don't get it.
They're not smart. You know what? They went through the Oregon education system, and they think they understand shit. But what they don't understand is all they understand is shit. Go wipe your ass, and if you can't get it clean, hop in the shower. Give up already because I'm done.
And now, Kevin, even more people gonna hate you because you said the word retarded too many times.
Oh, I said
You think Portland hates you? Wait till you get your fan. Wait.
Over the last few months, hey, I worked some of my enemies that swore they hated me, though they never have met me, nor have they ever seen my set. In fact, I'll mention a name right now. Susan Jones thought that I was black up until 2 months ago. So she had a hatred, but she had no idea who I am. And so, you know, it's simple. Over here in Washington, just across the bridge, 51 minutes away, we figured it out. We put, and when I say we, believe that I mean me, we put 250 to 300 people in the audience all the fucking time, and they are happy. They embrace the comics, and meanwhile, the comics get paid and leave, and everybody's happy, including the club owner. And that is the concept right there that they can't figure out in Portland. And I'll give you a...
Oh, I figured it out, sir.
Okay. Hey, Kevin, it's called oversaturation. There's like 600 shit garbage comics in Portland who have destroyed what a comedy show is. Nobody wants to go anymore. There's no value on it, and they're all...
Why do you think I quit booking them in Portland? I've quit booking shows in Portland. Everyone keeps sending me messages. Why aren't you booking shows? Why aren't you booking shows? Because if I find a venue that does pay, somebody walks in and goes, I'll give you the same show, and we'll do it for free.
Okay, so, but you do have an important venue coming up, this Saturday, which I'm actually going to be the host on. So what's happening down at Access Bar?
Okay, well, this is, over my run at comedy, every time I've come home, because I left Florida, Terry, as you know, and I tour around, I do my thing, but I come back here to college every single year, and I always do benefits, and I give away 100% of the proceeds to a family. I don't give it to an organization, I give it to a family. And unfortunately, or fortunately, depending how you look at it, I've now taken on that role, so I receive 50 to 60 messages in a month telling me tragic stories. And then you try to find the time and the place to fit all these in. So my last show tomorrow, before I hang it up, is also a benefit for 3 babies. The first one being baby Olivia, who was 10 months old, looks like a Gerber baby, went in for a simple cold, never came back out, viral meningitis, passed away. Eliana is a 10-year-old who went in the same time with viral meningitis, but did not die because she's 10 and her immune system was a little stronger. So she's still battling, and it's really tough for her. And then little Bentley is our 20-month-old fighter, and he has leukemia. And just, again, a beautiful baby, and just ridiculous. So for everything they say about me at the end of the day, I'm still paying back karma for years of my own personal garbage. And that's why I do this. Ultimately, what we're going to do on Saturday is we got a bake sale. We've got a silent auction. All the proceeds go to those 3 families. Come showtime, 250 people are going to come in, and they're going to put a minimum of $1 in each jar with the baby's picture on there corresponding. Nobody ever just puts $1, but even if they do, amen to that. And then we'll give them a great show, and Terry is hosting, and Amanda Arnold is featuring and fitting, of course, my last show.
What?
I'll be headline. And,
What?
And then,
did you have that backwards? I'm sorry.
What part? Now you got to reiterate, Mr. Corn. What part?
The featuring and like headlining part, that seemed a little fucked up.
No, I'm hosting and Amanda's featuring.
Amanda?
Huh?
What?
You think that I should open for Amanda?
No, I think he thinks that Amanda should be emceeing and I should be featuring.
Should open for Amanda.
He doesn't think I should be opening for Amanda.
No. The reason that Terry's hosting is because I use Terry more often than any comic I can even think of in Longview. Like, I just had her here a couple weeks ago, and
It's true.
so I bring her back a lot. So this is a different role in that she's going to be able to get up there a few times and help me with some of the announcements and the big celebration at the end when we give the money. So
That's true.
Terry's actually great.
Well,
Great
at
choice.
least I said it on air.
But you're right. You're right. Terry is an accomplished headliner. She's definitely.
So it's not. Yo, Junior. It has nothing to do about your show. But hey, let's go beyond that. You know what I really like about this whole show tonight? This was fun, Junior. I love you, man.
Yeah.
I've been really embarrassed because of the one time I got you. We actually worked together. I was really upset about how that turned out. I was more embarrassed than anything. You know? I just want to let you know, I want to keep working with you, buddy. I think you and me think a lot alike. Like, it's really weird. I really didn't think I was trying to go after your crown, and I never, like, had a goal, like, towards that, like, or anything. I didn't even know you were hated on until people started going, yeah, they hate you more than this guy. And I'm like, who's this guy? Why do they hate him? And then when I started asking why they hated you, they were like, no one could actually give me a reason that made sense. So I contacted you, I believe.
Yep.
I believe I reached out to you and go, why do they hate you? Because I can tell you why they hate me, which doesn't make sense, but I'm not sure why they hate you. And you were like, bro, I did this, and this, and I said, that's exactly what I just did when I got here. But I also did this, and this before I got here, but none of them took the time to look that up. And you were like, exactly. And then we were like, boom. And then it took forever to do a show together, and unfortunately, I booked the worst show possible.
Oh, well, you know what?
I'll take credit for that. You know what? I will take credit for booking a horrible venue. I will not take credit for people not doing what they should have done.
When the headliner goes up and does 1 minute and 6 seconds of sales. Oh my God.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened.
Wow.
And then I still had to go fill, 12 minutes?
You guys, you know what? We are at the end of the show here. But it is 1:55. I want to thank our listeners for listening in, and I think the moral of all this is like, don't give a fuck what people think about us or anything. Don't give a fuck about whether people, whether we care whether or not we're pro cannabis, or whether we want to do a show about cannabis, or let's not give a fuck about what we're saying. Because I think that if it comes from our heart, I mean, like, junior high is doing it, you care about people, you're doing a benefit, you're doing something good, you're giving back to the community, and we're giving back to others, and that's what it's all about. And let's make sure that, let's take care of each other. Let's legalize the hemp plant, make sure people have food to eat, and a medicine to have their bodies heal, and something to smoke to meditate on, and something to smoke to just be recreational on. And let's be abundant and make the money and the support that we can get through legalizing that plant. So thank you for listening, and we'll be back tomorrow night with Kush Family and .com Records and Kevin Korn in North Platte. We'll see you tomorrow.
How we doing trips?
You know what? I mean, I just have to go to the bathroom, and then I could call you guys in like 10 minutes or something.
So Junior should call you back, and can you get a phone call in 10 minutes?
I'm straight, brother. Just hit me up.
Okay. All right, great.
All right. Hey, is this on the same thing as we just did? Is there you say it's taped, so putting a link up wouldn't really, nobody can hear it anyway at this moment.
Well, I mean, there's been some, we've had people pop in and off of this. Yeah, I mean, it's gonna be on my Freedom. It's on a different UStream channel that I have. So.
Is there a link to the show that we're about to do?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I will, I'll post it on your Facebook.
Yeah,
you want me to?
Insomniac.
You know what? I'll send it to you I'll send it to you through Facebook.
Perfect.
It's called Freedom. It's the Freedom of Joyce Network. I'll get it. I'll do it right before yeah. So what? You want to take like a 15-minute break, or how long of a break is okay? 15?
Yeah, it's all.
15. 2:15. All right, we'll be back at 2:15. Hey, Sasha, thank you for. Yeah, I'll call you through Skype.
Okay.
Thank you for doing the show, Sasha.
Yeah, no problem.
Thanks, Sasha.
All right, bye.
Bye.